All set.
Welcome to October 9th, 2025, calling the meeting to order. We need a roll call. Kathy?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Commissioner Caljo.
Present.
Michael? I didn't hear from him. Bella?
Yes, present.
Okay. Eric?
Yes.
Dana?
Yep.
Perfect. Rebecca?
Morning, present.
Thank you. Robin?
Yes, here.
Dimitri? Okay. Secretary?
Present.
Nancy?
Morning, Kathy, I'm here.
Okay, great. And Rochelle?
Present.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm also here. I'm sorry I was late.
Okay, got you down. Thank you.
Very good. So it looks like the only person who's not here yet is Dimitri. Is that correct?
Correct.
Good morning, Dimitri
Oh,
is
there
here.
he is.
Okay. Excellent. So the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from September 11th. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, all yours.
Okay, thank you, Secretary. Commissioner Caljo?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Bella?
Yes.
Thank you. Eric?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes, approved.
Robin?
Yes.
Dimitri?
His lips said yes, even though we can't hear him.
All right, I'll take your word. Secretary?
Yes.
Nancy? Did Nancy's lips say yes?
I was unmuted. Yes.
Okay, and Rochelle?
Yes.
I'll abstain since I was not here last time.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's report, so I'll turn it over to Audrey.
Thank you, Secretary. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting, where our agenda focuses on our team's laser focus on delivery of best-in-class customer services to the hundreds of thousands of residents that we serve. This ambitious effort is built on a soup-to-nuts rethink of the way we approach our two biggest contracts and customer service functions, our call center and our enrollment and premium billing work. Our meeting today is focused on updates and next steps regarding the second category, the transformation of our enrollment and premium billing business functions. As you'll recall, this started with the procurement of a new vendor to manage enrollment and billing operations, and after the board's supportive vote back in June, moving into transition and implementation this past July. We will give you a status update today as we continue to work towards a July 1st, 2026 launch of enrollment and premium billing work through our new partner, Maximus. Also today, we will ask you to approve a contract with Standard Modern as a new fulfillment vendor for us, which is the term of art for the vendor that does all of our printing and mailing to applicants and enrollees. This is a standalone contract as we have pulled this business function out from the broader enrollment and premium billing contract work in order to gain efficiencies and establish greater controls for this work, as opposed to having it carried out via subcontractor layered beneath the enrollment and premium billing vendor. As we will detail for you today, we are confident Standard Modern has the technological infrastructure, quality assurance controls, and reporting tools required to meet the evolving needs and high standards of the Health Connector. The broader work of transitioning the way we conduct our enrollment and premium billing and fulfillment work is our top operational business priority for the next year. We appreciate this board's support for our ambitious goals to provide best-in-class service to our members and to operate the most efficient and effective business functions possible. Separate from our continued efforts to step up our business operations, we continue to prepare for a historically dynamic open enrollment, including prioritizing messaging and support to members who will experience eligibility and premium changes, as we discussed at our last meeting. As you know, right now the federal government is shut down as debate continues about the future of enhanced premium tax credits. Health insurance is, at its fundamental core, about security and stability, and the uncertainty about these tax credits undercuts both. Families deserve a system they can count on, and this moment puts that promise at risk. Time is of the essence. Later this month, our members will begin receiving final notices for 2026 coverage that starkly detail eligibility changes and premium increases that are fueled by these federal policies. 330,000 people here in Massachusetts, our enrollees, will see premiums increase if the tax credits are not extended. These people, our families, friends, and neighbors, are going to see premium increases that may make health insurance unaffordable for them. The average loss in tax credits per person would average at more than $1,300 per year, with some people seeing increases of a staggering $10,000 per year in some cases. The impacts would hurt people throughout our membership, including those in our Connector Care program who would see proportionately significant premium increases, potentially making coverage unaffordable for low-income members. Losing the enhanced premium tax credits would create an estimated annual loss of $425 million and help lowering the cost of health insurance here in Massachusetts for residents. That loss of financial support will lead to thousands of Massachusetts residents having to make difficult choices about their family's finances, and many will make the decision to drop coverage. At a time when it seems like everything from groceries to electricity is getting more expensive, not extending these tax credits adds yet one more higher cost that can be avoided by continuing to deliver this help to members. We continue to work daily with our state-based marketplace colleagues, our congressional delegation, healthcare leaders throughout Massachusetts, and others to impress on federal leaders the need to extend enhanced premium tax credits as soon as possible. Thank you for your support as we continue to take on this fight, and thank you for your consideration of our continued enhancements to our enrollment and premium billing operations as we get into today's agenda. While we are in full activation mode on the big picture of historic funding and policy questions and advocating for our Commonwealth, we simultaneously continue to sweat the details down to every operational facet of the way we can deliver coverage better with reliability and excellent service to the people we're here to serve, and we'll keep at it on all fronts. With that, I will hand it back to you, Secretary.
Thank you, Audrey. The next item on the agenda is a presentation of the fulfillment vendor contract, which will include a vote, and it will be presented by Patricia Grant. Trish, handing it to you.
Thank you, Secretary. Good morning, everyone. For this first agenda item, I will review the Health Connectors procurement process for printing, mailing, warehousing, and fulfillment services, collectively known as fulfillment, and request that the board vote to approve that we enter into an agreement with our chosen vendor, Standard Modern. Next slide. Currently, fulfillment services are provided by Doxim, a subcontractor under our agreement with our enrollment and premium billing vendor, Softeon. Doxim has been providing these services since the start of the current contract, which was awarded in 2019. The scope of their work aligns with the scope of the recent procurement. In an effort to advance the Health Connector strategic plan to improve and modernize the applicant experience, as well as to maintain and strengthen organization structure and system reliability, the Health Connector sought to choose and contract directly with its own fulfillment vendor. This allowed us to choose a vendor we felt best aligned with our goal to adopt a customer-first culture by delivering tailored, accessible, and timely communications using an approach that meets the diverse needs of our members. The Health Connector also sought to integrate technology and processes that streamline operations and create a unified, consistent customer experience. Next slide. Our decision to carve out fulfillment services and procure them separately was a deliberate one. We wanted to have direct oversight of the fulfillment vendor rather than having to rely on an intermediary vendor to oversee a subcontractor's processes and performance, an arrangement that has not always worked well for us. We sought a vendor who shared our future state vision and who had experience delivering comparable services with other government entities. As with our other recent procurements, we upgraded our procurement documents, incorporated lessons learned, and with the help of our legal team, wrote a tighter contract with a focus on customer service and vendor accountability. Next slide. The scope of services for this procurement mirrors what we have in place today, producing notices from data from various systems, printing and mailing those notices along with other correspondence, the ability to produce Braille and large print versions of notices, producing notices in multiple languages, and printing and mailing other communications developed by the Health Connector as needed. Next slide. The qualities that the procurement team sought in a fulfillment vendor were, first and foremost, a focus on a customer-centric approach, utilization of industry standard technology, ability to manage the scope of the contract and the risks associated with implementation, development, developed processes for continuous quality improvement, the ability to meet service and quality standards during open enrollment when the volume of printing and mailing increases as compared to closed enrollment periods, and experience delivering similar scope of work in a government setting. Next slide. The request for quotes, or RFQ, was posted on July 2nd under State Blanket OFF 48. Services included printing, mailing, warehousing of envelopes, paper stock, and pre-printed materials, as well as fulfillment services. We included current requirements for producing Braille and large print notices, but expanded language capability requirements to include simplified Chinese, Haitian Creole, and Vietnamese, in addition to what we have today, which is English, Spanish, and Brazilian Portuguese. Next slide. Bids were evaluated using scoring sheets that looked at the bidder's overall response submission, ability to meet business requirements, and cost response. The cost response was factored in after the team arrived at collective scores for both the overall response submission and business requirements. Next slide. Our evaluation process was the same as the process we've used for all of our recent procurements. Team members read and score bids individually, then team sessions are held to arrive at a collective team score. During team meetings, each member discussed their individual score for each section of the bid, along with strengths and weaknesses. Individual scores for each section were then averaged to arrive at a team score. Next slide. The bidder's cost response was analyzed by the Health Connectors finance team. Scoring team members did not have access to the cost response until all of the initial scoring meetings were completed. Once the cost response was made available, the team then went back and incorporated scoring of the cost response into the overall score for the bid. Next slide. The Health Connector received only one response to the RFQ from Standard Modern. Next slide. The evaluation team reviewed Standard Modern's bid using the process that was just outlined. After reviewing the bid, the team felt that Standard Modern provided a comprehensive and innovative response to the RFQ. Their proposal conveyed the expertise and experience that we were seeking in a vendor, as well as a willingness to be a partner to the Health Connector as we work towards best-in-class customer service for our members. Finally, Standard Modern's pricing was competitive. Assuming no changes to the volumes that were provided in the procurement documents, Standard Modern's cost proposal is a 5% savings over our current fulfillment costs. Next slide. Our decision to move forward with Standard Modern went beyond cost savings. The team felt that Standard Modern fully understands the importance of timely, secure, and accurate communications. They have a dedicated team with many years' experience providing similar services in government settings. Finally, the high standards of their quality assurance program supports their commitment to working with us as we aim to provide best-in-class customer service. Next slide. Standard Modern is a women-owned local business with its offices and warehouse in New Bedford, Massachusetts. They have been supporting businesses in Massachusetts for almost 30 years. They have been a fulfillment vendor for MassHealth for close to 20 years and have previous experience working with our incoming enrollment and premium billing vendor, Maximus. They will have contract-dedicated equipment, including Braille embossers, intelligent mailing systems, and high-speed digital presses. They are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which means they will always be available to us if we need them. Next slide. Standard Modern's cost response is a not-to-exceed amount of $36.69 million over 4 years. Next slide. A breakdown of cost by year is shown here. Standard Modern's price proposal is reflective of efficiencies and economies of scale. Their implementation payments are tied to specific milestones, and our price per piece is locked in for the duration of the contract. In addition, they have a host of services that they utilize through the U.S. Postal Service that will result in postage savings. Next slide. Fulfillment services are very closely tied to enrollment in premium billing. Implementation of Standard Modern will occur as a separate work track under the umbrella of the current enrollment and premium billing vendor transition. During the final months of the enrollment and premium billing transition, we will utilize Standard Modern to receive, process, print, and mail ad hoc communications as part of our planned parallel operations to ensure that their go-live is successful. Next slide. As with all vendor transitions, no matter how well we plan, there is always risk. For this transition, the work is being done alongside a challenging open enrollment, the enrollment and premium billing vendor transition, and the tail end of the contact center transition. It will require us to oversee an additional vendor, and we do have dependencies on third parties for cooperation and participation in this work. To mitigate these risks, the Health Connector has already been planning for this transition with the incoming enrollment and premium billing vendor Maximus. This transition has its own work track, identified resources, and is part of the overall enrollment and premium billing project plan. An additional advantage is that Standard Modern and Maximus already have an established relationship from their joint work on the Mass Health side. Before I pause for questions, I do want to point out that while the not to exceed cost of Standard Modern's proposal was just under $36.7 million, the Health Connector is asking for a not to exceed amount of $45 million. This is to account for continued changes at the federal level, anticipated changes to open enrollment in both 2027 and 2028, and additional communications that will be needed for members related to upcoming technology changes. The additional amount will cover costs related to these expenses that are upcoming for us. I'm happy to answer any questions before turning it over to the secretary for a vote.
I have a question. I apologize. I couldn't find the raise my hand.
That's okay.
I'm interested a little bit in your thoughts on managing transitions, which are always hard, and ensuring that the highest standards of the outgoing vendor continue to be strongly applied so that Massachusetts consumers get the best possible work. The connector is a hallmark for enrollment and billing practices across the country and an influential player. And I would think that the outgoing vendor would use all best steps to ensure that they leave on a good note, but wanted to sort of get your thoughts on that.
Yes, so we are working very closely with Softeon, not only for enrollment in premium billing work, but also for the fulfillment work that they do for us. Unfortunately, with the fulfillment work, we cannot run notices from two different systems at the same time because that would force us to have our current vendor integrate with two different systems. So we will make sure by using some of the ad hoc communications that we need to send out, we will make sure that we're testing this fulfillment vendor. They will only integrate with the new vendor, so they will not be integrating with our outgoing vendor. As for work on the enrollment and premium billing side, we do continue to have the same routine meetings that we're having with Softeon. We're working with them on making sure that we have agreements in place for our transition. And as you stated, every transition or incoming and outgoing vendor work presents some challenges, and I'll go over some of that in the next presentation. But we are making sure that we're keeping aligned with Softeon to keep the trains running and make sure that while the teams are working to transition, we don't lose sight of the fact that we do have membership that we need to take care of day to day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know who's next, if it was Bella or Rebecca.
I can go. I was just wondering, were you surprised that there was only one vendor that bid, or was that an expectation?
So yes and no. I think that the combination of our increased effort to increase accountability was one factor. The SLAs, service level agreements that we have in the new contract are much higher than what we've had in the past. The other issue is the security standards for vendors has been increased. There's a new security standard that folks who do work with Medicaid provider entities and ACA entities, they have to have a new compliance framework in place by March of next year. And there are many vendors, especially vendors in this space, that don't meet today's standards and will not be able to reach the standards that are required by March of next year. Standard Modern did discuss that in their bid, and they will be compliant as of the deadline in March of 2026. Rebecca?
Thank you, and thanks for the presentation. Yeah, I just wanted to put in a good word. Our organization, 1199 SEIU, has worked with Standard Modern a lot, has had a really positive experience with them. They're a union shop, as you said, they're women-owned, and appreciate the attention to language access as well. So thank you.
Yes, we got glowing references for Standard Modern, which was great.
Any further questions for Trish? I just love the fact that as we're approaching end of the year holidays, this is called like a fulfillment center, sort of like wish fulfillment. It just makes me think of like Santa Claus. But any other questions for Patricia?
Actually, Secretary, could I ask one? So Trish, thanks for the presentation and all the work that I know goes into doing RFP and reviewing it so carefully. Could you say a little bit about what the advantages to us might be of having the same vendor that works with Mass Health?
So they already understand many of the systems that we use. So they understand how HICS, the eligibility system, works and receiving files from anything that comes from HICS, or I think on the Mass Health side, they use a common noticing solution. They have worked with Maximus and I think continue to work with them on the Mass Health side right now. So those points of contact are already there. And I know that Standard Modern has done some work for other agencies across Massachusetts. So I think familiarity with the government entities, understanding our population and the systems that we use will be a big advantage for us. It's almost like they don't need that ramp up piece. They don't have to ramp up the knowledge of our systems and how we work. They already understand that. So that will be extremely helpful to us.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Kathy, I'll turn it over to you for roll call.
Thank you, Secretary. Commissioner Caljo,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Bella,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Dimitri.
Kathy, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. Secretary,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Rochelle.
Yes.
All set. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. The motion carries. And our next item will also be presented by Trish, and it is a presentation on the enrollment and premium billing transition.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for that board vote. This agenda item is an update on the transition of the enrollment and premium billing contract from our current vendor Softeon to our incoming vendor Maximus. Next slide. The enrollment and premium billing contract encompasses the creation and management of member enrollments, effectuation functions, generation of member billing statements, generation of notices and other enrollment and billing correspondence, the member and guest portals, communication to carriers through reporting, which is the electronic data interchange or EDI, and periodic reporting to our federal partners, including CMS and the IRS. The enrollment and premium billing contract is our second largest body of contracted business at the Health Connector, with the most frequent touch points with our membership. Next slide. The transition from Softeon to Maximus is extremely complex. While the enrollment and premium billing, or EPB contract, is not the highest cost contract at the Health Connector, it is our largest contract in scope and touches all verticals of the agency. EPB is the single highest driver of calls, satisfaction, and dissatisfaction of our membership. The work being done to successfully transition to Maximus is the highest priority for all staff at the agency until go live in 2026. We spent a lot of time and effort across all teams at the Health Connector to plan and prepare for this work prior to the official start of the transition. We met with individual staff, groups of staff, and even spoke with former colleagues to gather input on lessons learned from previous transitions. A key takeaway from those discussions was to avoid a full cutover to a new vendor. As such, at the tail end of this transition, we will run as many processes as possible in parallel with the current vendor prior to a full cutover. This will give us time to resolve any unanticipated issues or discrepancies before go live. Next slide. A breakdown. Oh, I'm sorry, Nuri. I think it's the previous slide. I spoke too soon. A breakdown of the EPB transition shows that implementation of the Maximus solution runs from July 1st to March 31st of next year. We will start transition of the fulfillment vendor no later than November 1st of this year, and parallel operations across the entire project, including fulfillment, will run from April 1st of 2026 to June 30th of 2026 prior to go live on July 1st. Next slide. The overall status of the project is yellow due to a single work track, which is trending red. On this slide, you can see that there are 10 major work track categories that are trending green, which means that they are on time and there is minimal risk. Of note is the fact that within each of these 10 categories, there are several work tracks. So the actual number of concurrent work tracks is actually more than twice of what you see bulleted here. For example, integrations work track can be further broken down into work with the carriers, our eligibility system vendor, and our contact center technology vendor. This not only requires work on the technology side with these entities, but also involves different teams within the Health Connector who lead those specific work tracks. The one work track that is trending red, which indicates a delay and significant risk, is the data migration work track. Data migration is a critical process that involves more than just transferring data from one system to another. It requires preparing, extracting, validating, and ensuring integrity of the data before transferring it to the new system. It is the cornerstone of the project and will allow us to develop and test our new system as it is being configured for us. Next slide. Softion's product and applications are proprietary, and therefore key information that we need for data conversion is not available to us. We are working with Softion on a transition statement of work, or SOW, and a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, for Maximus, both of which are required under our current agreement with Softion. In lieu of access to their proprietary system, Softion will develop queries according to Health Connector specifications to provide data sets that are needed by Maximus. Next slide. To mitigate risk, both Maximus and the Health Connector have been planning work related to data migration within these limitations. While this makes good business sense as it provides us with a built-in contingency plan, it is a more difficult path for us to take. The Health Connector has been using its current data extract and business and technical knowledge to reverse engineer the incumbent data structures in data dictionaries to provide Maximus with information needed to convert data to their systems. However, this is a very complex and time-consuming process. Risk for this work track will be reduced significantly once the Health Connector receives output from Softion based on the requested queries. However, this work track is delayed and will be delayed further as we work towards executing both the statement of work and the non-disclosure agreement. Next slide. The Health Connector will continue to work with Softion to execute both agreements, and we will continue to move forward on this work track with Maximus, paying close attention to progress and risks associated with the data migration. Our external partners, Optum, who manages HICS, our eligibility system, Accenture, who is our contact center technology vendor, and our carrier partners have been actively engaged in the system integration work that is required as a part of this transition. We are working closely with each of these entities to sign off on requirements and determine development and testing timeframes. Optum has also been providing the project with additional support on upstream processes that are critical for enrollment and premium billing testing. We appreciate the work that these entities have done in helping us to keep the majority of our work tracks in a green status. We understand that this work pulls resources away from their day-to-day business, which can be challenging for them. Next slide. Testing is a major component of any implementation. Testing of system features will begin in December and continue through February, when development of customizations to the existing Maximus system is scheduled to be complete. Multiple cycles of end-to-end testing on the fully developed system will begin in February and will continue through parallel processing. A separate testing team within the Health Connector was created to work on this project full-time. This team is comprised of veteran staff who have expertise in all of our systems, as well as temporary staff whose backgrounds include testing experience in projects of similar scope and size. Our banking partners have been involved and have established relationships with our payment processing vendor, Catalyst. It has been a Herculean effort on the part of Maximus, the Health Connector, and our external partners who have all prioritized this work. Staff across the entire agency continue to give us 110% on this project while maintaining their individual portfolios of work and pivoting as needed in response to federal changes. My thanks and appreciation to them for successfully closing out the first quarter of this year-long transition. As we move forward with this very complex and critical work, we will keep the board apprised of our progress and any risks that we encounter. I am happy to take questions if anyone has on the work that we've done so far on this transition. Nancy?
Thank you, Trish. Thanks for all the work that you and others are doing on this, which I know sounds like a huge lift and maybe more stressful unnecessarily than it needs to be in a time that's already stressful. Could you explain, at least for me, because I'm not as familiar maybe certainly than you, what is the why is data migration so important to the project? And why is it important that this get done as quickly as possible?
So the data migration is actually, it's not necessarily the first domino in all of the work that gets done, but it is something that needs to be done at the front end of the project. We can't go live without successful and timely execution of data migration. So we could have a fully functional system available and ready to go, but we do have to have reliable data available in that system. The accuracy of the data is very important, and it allows us, when we take that data, to transfer it into the new system so that we can test the functions of that system and make sure that all of the processes that we have underneath each of those work tracks that you saw are functioning correctly.
Thank you.
Yep. Bella? Oh, I saw Bella's hand, but I don't hear her.
Sorry. The data that we're talking about is really the data for all of our Connector Care members who are currently enrolled in Connector Care. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's our data. We own that data. It's all of our membership, and that data, we have to understand how the data relates to itself. Where is it coming from in the current system, and how does that relate to where it goes in the new system that we have? So it's not simply taking data and just moving it. We have to understand how it's structured in order for us to make sure that it's mapped correctly in the new system.
Just a follow-up question. What about historical data are we talking about that as well? For example, yes. Okay.
Yep. So part of the procurement, I think the data so we have historical data. I think we are transitioning the time frame that we are doing for this particular data migration is 2000, I think either 18 or 19 on. So that is the total amount of time that Softeon has owned the contract. Data prior to that, we do have that as well. Oh, I think Eric has a question.
Yes, I was just gonna sort of wanted to just state that the incumbent provider is losing a contract, and certainly can understand when a vendor loses a contract, they're perhaps less incented to work super hard to help manage a transition. Nonetheless, they have to, and it's important for our members and for our organization to succeed, for the incumbent provider to do what's reasonable. That said, I understand they need to get contracts and protect their proprietary information. So just speaking on my behalf, I support you all doing whatever you can to expedite the contracting issues, and would ask that the incumbent provider do what they can to support us here towards the end of their contract, and you want to maintain good relationships and not burn bridges, when you end relationships, because there are always opportunities in the future, whether it's with the connector or other organizations related to the connector. I think it's important to just do what's right, but also what's required under the contracts. So thank you for your work on it.
Thank you, Eric. Totally agree. Nancy, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just actually going to say something very similar to what Eric said, and which I think was a theme that Mike Caljo mentioned earlier, which is, just really hoping that the outgoing vendor, is performing at full capacity and cooperating in every way. And I would think it's in everyone's best interest to have the smoothest and most successful transition possible. I would say particularly given the strong relationships that the connector has with all of the other, I think it's 22 state-based exchanges, and with CMS as well. So, I hope at our next board meeting, we'll get a report that that's what's happening.
And I would just say thank you for that, Nancy, and all the board members. We continue to be working at full tilt to close the loop on anything that's outstanding, so that our team has what they need, our membership and our public and our taxpayers have what they need to make sure these services are delivered appropriately, and that this transition is successful. So thank you all for your support and your understanding of what a significant endeavor this is, and echoing Trish's comments in terms of gratitude to our staff who are really working around the clock on this transition to get us to this new plateau, new ground in terms of our work in this business function space.
Trish, I want to, I'm struggling raising my hand electronically, so I want to thank you for your hard work in navigating through this process. You mentioned earlier that Softheon was in custody of the data from 2019 forward. What happened to the information that we had collected prior to 2019? The assumption I'm making based on your statement was kind of like that information was not incorporated in the new Softheon environment. Am I reading that wrong?
So I will invite Deepti, who's on our IT team, to jump in if I misspeak. It is my understanding that we have old data older than 2019 is stored separately. It's archived in a secure location. What we're moving from the Softheon system is anything from the start of their contract to present day that will move into the Maximus system.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Trish. Any further questions? If not, Audrey, it looks like our next item would be for me to call for a motion to adjourn. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, very good. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And we'll have a vote by roll call from Kathy.
Okay, Commissioner Caljo,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Bella,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Dimitri,
Yes.
Secretary,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes, with commending the secretary for his very efficient chairing of the meeting today.
We should be thanking Audrey for making such a such an agenda. So the motion carries and we are adjourned, and thank you, Team Connector, for this hard work.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Secretary. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Bye.